my life had become about trying to avoid pain. It was about when can I lay down in bed? When can I take my nap? You know, and how am I going to sleep tonight? And it was all about avoiding pain.
Yeah, kind of debilitating, huh? It's almost disheartening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that I find is Denali's ability to convey hope where there is none. Hello, I'm Dr. Brett Earle, and super excited to, share this time with my good friend, but also patient, Ali Bell. Just had an amazing journey with you.
Oh, yeah. Amazing for me. I hope it's been for you.
It has changed. I mean, you really have allowed us to be on the cutting edge of some of our treatments. And that in turn has moved our ability to help more people in a more significant way. Some of our protocols were a little slow and sluggish, and we started to introduce some different pieces with your help, and we accelerated, everything from the pelvic reset to some of these other pieces that just really came together because you were willing to allow us to push that edge, which has been awesome.
Well, I consider it a miracle in my life. How close am I to your clinic?
Yeah.
What are the chances?
I know. And
these autoimmunes that I have had, I like to think I'm in full remission, pretty much. But that you're right there, and you had answers when I struggled for so long.
So tell me about that. Tell me about your journey as far as health and the declining health, and then lead into how you met us, where you heard about us, how that all came together.
Well, okay, so the time I dragged my nearly lifeless body into the clinic, I was going through a divorce. Yeah, I was going through a divorce, and I was, so devastated emotionally and just physically so tired. So the IVs were helping, for sure. They would give me enough energy to get through the day. But then I'd had this bladder issue started coming up. I thought I had ongoing UTIs and just, had to run to the bathroom, had to plan my life around.
Every 20 minutes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'd go to the grocery store. I'd say, okay, I can go to the bathroom when I get to Smith's. Then as soon as I finish my groceries, I can go to the bathroom, and then I can make it home. And, it was just getting worse and worse. And so I went to OBGYNs looking for an answer, and they finally told me it was
interstitial cystitis. Yeah.
Okay.
Among other things, there's a lot of things that fall under something called pelvic dysfunction, but pain, discomfort, all those different pieces.
Yeah. So.
And you were a traveler before, you loved to travel.
Yeah, my husband loves to travel, and we were going places regularly, and then I'm like, I'm not going to get on a plane. If I can't make it to the bathroom, and so I didn't travel for, a long, long time. I didn't know you did everything that you did. I really didn't. I hate to say that. I didn't know exactly what you did until I talked to your patients. So I was talking to a lady, and we were sharing, and I told her I had all these bladder issues going on. And she told me that she'd done the pelvic reset, and she looked at me. So we're sitting there getting IVs, and she looked at me. She gave me that woman-to-woman look, and she went, get it done. And I looked at her, I knew she was telling me the truth. So I'm like, because you can feel it woman to woman. And so
Which scares us men to death, by the way. Just so you know, that woman to woman look when you give it to us, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. We were like, okay, I'm listening to her. And so I started doing it, and I talked to you. I said, I've got this interstitial, I can't even say
interstitial cystitis. It's a mouthful.
I don't have to learn it because I don't have it anymore.
That's right.
So. But I'm like, can you help me with that? And you were just so confident and, matter of fact. And I could feel, I hate to use the word faith because, trust, confidence that you could help me. And I needed that, as a patient, I needed that. So Started that, and the first injection, I don't know if you remember, but I came back. I came back, and I was almost in tears, and I said, I am 70% improved. 70%. And I think I started crying. I was trying not to, but I couldn't believe it. And since then, it's been a slower.
Yes.
You know, it was a jump, and then a slower
Which is the natural progression of good healing. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, I'm traveling again. Well, here's the big thing that I would like people to know is that I went from having autoimmunes, planning my life around my pain, to, you know, in the last year, my company, we've gone from growing our social media in 1 year to 4 million followers from 200, you know, almost 4 million followers. And that, you know, that does not happen without a lot of energy, a lot of vibrancy, a lot of creativity. And so I have that back in my life now. I mean, you know, you don't realize when you're sick that your day-to-day routine is, you know, how do I get out of pain? How am I going to get through this day? How am I going to feed my family?
Yeah.
How am I going to make it at the grocery store? You know, your whole life, you know, all my thoughts were on how am I going to make it through this day? You know, survival. And you don't, I had lived that for so long, I couldn't remember what it was like to, you know, be creative, to run a company, to have dreams. You know, I have my dreams back now. I just printed up my manuscript for a book I've been writing that's almost ready to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And, you know, you get, your thoughts can go to something else now. Your thoughts can go to, what is it I want to do in my life? What is it I want to contribute? How can I serve?
So, and I have a similar story, but that's another story for another day, and I'm not trying to, again, draw away from that, but just to align with what you've said, it's not just changing one or two things, it changes everything about your life. Especially when you don't have to you just get up and you start doing. You don't have to think about jumping from bathroom to bathroom, or from pain to pain, or from all of those different pieces. And I want to emphasize that. I mean, we all have discomfort, disease, those type of things, but and a lot of you out there have a lot of these components as well. But how much energy you waste by dealing with pain, and how much you can regain by treating the root cause and the root source. So we started with the IVs, and then you heard about the injections, and we kind of injected a little bit of everything. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I had a lot of issues, you know. Was I your worst patient ever? I mean, like sick?
No, never. No.
Oh my gosh, I felt like it. So anyway, I've been in multiple car wrecks. So I had neck and back, and so my knees, you know, I think we started with my knees, if I remember. And, you know, just coming up the stairs. I know most people it's going down. For me, it was coming up for some reason, but, you know, can I show you a squat?
Yeah.
Okay. This is so, you know, silly, but, you know, I couldn't come up the stairs. And so now I can do like, you know, I squat all the time.
With your heels down, which is a big deal out there, by the way.
Yeah.
Because that means...
You know, that's so easy for me.
Yeah.
To do that. And
that means you're not protecting anything.
Yeah.
You can just do it.
I can just drop it, you know. But, you know, that's, you know, when you're in pain, you limit your movement.
You're trying to protect.
And you start to, I didn't realize it, but you limit your thinking. I mean, you know, that the mental follows the physical.
Yes.
And so I was so limited in my thinking without even knowing it. And now that I have, you know, all this energy and mobility, you know, my knees, you did my neck and my back. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, I'm sure, with neck and back pain. I did my shoulder because I was playing pickleball a lot.
I remember that conversation. Yeah. Okay, I got to get back and I got to beat. Okay.
So, yeah, and, you know, it only took, like, my knees were pretty quick. I think 3, if I remember. My neck and back are still ongoing. I don't come see you very much for that.
Yeah, hardly at all. But
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're one of my fast healers, but that neck and back, I mean, decades of issues. And so every once in a while, we'll have a little bit of a flare or something will happen up.
Right.
Yeah. So, so we got your energy at least moving in the right direction. We started getting rid of a lot of your structural pain with the Renew 2 injections. The pelvic reset. I'm
going to show you something. Okay, I've talked to a lot of women, and once I started having bladder problems, I started talking about it, and women have bladder issues.
A lot.
Oh my heavens.
I would say a majority of women have pelvic pain, bladder issues.
My age, 90%. I was surprised once I opened up to my friends about it. So I can jump like no leaking, no leaking. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yes.
I mean, my friends talk about the leakage they have and the pain, and I'm like, I'm so, and I'm your biggest fan, so I have to
you're very
tell
kind.
them. Yeah, I have to get the word out.
I so appreciated the trust that you had with us. That was a big deal. It really was.
Yeah, and for the pelvic too, one benefit is that it kind of rejuvenates the whole area, so that you're more sensitive down there again. You can feel more.
Yeah.
So of course.
In a very appropriate way. So changes intimacy.
Well, let's not beat around the bush. I mean, for a woman, when you're in pain, you're not even thinking about sexuality.
Right.
But once you start healing and you have more energy, it's important. It's important for a marriage to have passion. And so that, has helped my marriage significantly. And I wasn't even aware that, there could be anything done. I had no interest in that. I was in pain,
Sexual intimacy, if you will, made the pain worse, or would bring on the bladder symptoms worse.
Right, right. So just from a marriage standpoint,
huge.
Huge. I mean, all these things that you don't even think about. I'm just trying to get out of pain.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's more. There's more to life. There's passion, and of course, my husband's very happy. Let me just say that. I mean,
I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten over the years. Hi, this is so-and-so, and I'm the husband of so-and-so. You're the best doctor ever. Thank you. I'm glad everyone's feeling better. It's his thing. Yeah, click.
And I think Dave's come in and told you that.
Yes.
I mean, but it's important. It's important because you want to be vibrant. I mean, we're in our 60s. We want a vibrant life. Right.
And it's interesting, you talked about, and this is something I didn't notice until I'd been through quite a few of them, but as you mentioned, everything kind of tightens up.
Yeah.
Externally, internally, and it just enlivens the whole experience. I remember we were starting to get you better, and so there's an energy part to healing, there's a mechanical part to healing, there's a chemical part to healing. And we were doing the chemical and some of the energy pieces, and we've added to that. But I said the mechanical piece, I mean, it's designed to be used. And that made a big difference too. Once we got to the point where it wasn't a hindrance, and you weren't all the way better yet. So remember you had some reservations, and I said, this is our next step. And you took another leap forward once we, because you were able to get out of that pain, you started thinking as a woman, and wanting to, take care of your man, but also be able to enjoy that experience and not have to suffer the consequences later on. It's a big deal.
It is, and I would have been happy just after that first injection, 70% improvement. I mean, my goodness, who wouldn't take that?
Yeah.
But then you realize, wow, I feel so much better. Is there more I can do? You almost can't believe it.
I know.
You almost can't believe that you can be better and better and better.
And I think we get, as you mentioned, so discouraged and so down a path that we often can't and don't take the time to look back up and say, that's where I was, how can I get back there? And begin that whole process. So one of the other things that we were able to provide was what we call the best breast health. Kind of talk to me about your experience with that. Were you noticing anything?
So I had done a thermography before I came to you, so I knew I had like little hot spots and things. So I wanted to do the breast health program, and so I wasn't really noticing anything, but I knew there was something going on. And so that first thermography, I had all kinds of spots. You actually show you map it out. That's what's cool.
Yeah.
And
we repeated that for you in our office too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. You're very clear about where the congestion is, where the spots are, and you map it all out. And so so I learned the technique, the massage and everything, and I started doing that, and it was pretty quick. And this is another thing that as a woman is so important is, my breasts started becoming fuller, like fluffier, like more perky. And so...
Because of the cleanse.
The cleanse, yeah, which I had no idea would happen. I'm in there for breast health, to prevent problems down the road. So that was like, if I had known, I really think he ought to advertise it as a breast beautification program.
We're working on that.
It's kind of, yeah.
But it's so interesting how breasts are a piece of your identity as a woman, and a lot of that, psychologically, they're out there, not to be overly obvious, but they're front and center.
Right.
And so I remember I had a patient, and she was fairly small-breasted, but was very, she didn't like the way she looked, and so she always walked around like this, very hunched over. And I saw her in a casual setting after she had started to do the breast health. And she was upright, and she was just engaging. She actually wasn't wearing a bra that day because she was so confident of what was happening. Yeah. Again, life-changing. So much fun to be able to change lives that way.
Right, right, and that is important to a woman. It is. It makes you more confident, and you just feel more feminine and pretty, and so that was a nice bonus that I think is really important, and I hope that you change the name of it. That's just my 2 cents. But then you go back in and you get checked again.
We'll do fluffy boobs.
I like it.
Okay.
And then you go in and get checked again. What was it, 3 months?
So anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, we do a second follow-up. So we usually do a series of 3, but yeah, we do a second follow-up. Okay. And then you're able to see.
Yes, and that's the cool part. That's what the real meaning of it is that the breasts have cleared up, and you actually have scientific proof that you're healthier, that you're moving in the right direction, and that is so gratifying. And it's so easy. Yeah. I mean, a couple of minutes a day.
The other interesting thing that you may or may not have noticed is that it actually, in women, releases oxytocin. So you almost feel, you feel a better mood. You feel more empowered, more enabled because of that feel-good oxytocin that gets released with the breast cleanse, just kind of a natural side effect.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't talked about is the gut reset. Every patient has this with the gut reset. There is an up and down component to it. We experienced that with you, but in general, that's gone also very well.
It has. It was the hardest of the pieces for me, and I knew I needed to do it, but I'm like a huge food person. I love me my treats, and so, you were really nice, and you talked to me about it, and so it's taken me the longest because it was the hardest one.
Yes.
Because it required a lot of me, because kind of a food addict, and so I had to work through all that. So I had to, clean up my diet, and do the supplements, and it took, a level of commitment that was, quite challenging for me, but yet I'm committed to my health. But yet that piece has taken me the longest and has been the hardest.
Yeah.
But it's critical and I'm still working on it.
Yeah. And I remember the first set of supplements we put you on, it was way too much. We kind of overwhelmed the whole system. And so then we just took a step back, kind of customized things and worked our way back into it.
Yeah, I think because of my age too, being 62, that, I have to be a little slower, I think. Or maybe I just tell myself that.
No, it's actually very true. It's so true that, and that's the other thing, is we're able to kind of customize things a little bit.
Right.
What I've found is most people need very similar things in their gut reset, but we have some variations because not everyone's the same.
Well, I like the way that you're so honest about that. That we had to adjust some things for me.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different, right? And you were willing to work with me on that, and I could tell you what was happening.
Yeah. Well, and it was very interesting because, and I would say, fortunately, we had got the energy back, we'd got structure back, we'd gotten the breast healthy, and then we said, hey, let's do this gut reset. And I think the difficult part the part of getting over the difficulties was made possible because we had all of those other pieces. Because it is hard, but there was a level of trust and understanding that, okay, Denali has a good handle on this. Let's kind of see it through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I had tremendous issues with my gut by the time I got to you. I mean, I can remember from starting at high school. So that's a long time to be dealing with that. So, and I figured out wheat's a problem for me, and some other things that have been really helpful. And I think the gut is just going to be ongoing for me. And it's not that hard now.
Right.
It's gotten easier. I've gotten better. I feel better. But I'm going to keep going on the maintenance program because it's helping a lot.
And I would say the other nice thing with your travel, you don't have to be so strict when you're traveling because we've got the gut in a good place. It's not, when you're really sick and everything sets you off, even going out to dinner when you're, and thinking, okay, let's go to this nice dinner, and I paid money to feel sick. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was to the point where, I was having the stomach attacks and was having to lay down with a hot pad on my stomach, and that's completely gone. That's been gone for quite a while. And I can eat just a lot of things. I have a lot of choices. I do stay off the wheat. I did find that to be a problem, but I don't have to think too much.
Yeah, because you've got good digestion again, and it's able to break down a variety of foods. Where when the gut's sick, we often get pigeonholed into a very narrow selection because that didn't make us sick. And it's, again, one of those other pieces that we don't realize how deep we are into that rabbit hole, if you will, until suddenly we look around and saying, oh, everyone else is enjoying X, Y, and Z, and I can't.
Right.
Or we just kind of notice it ourselves. Yeah.
Right, and you don't realize by the time I got to you how sick I was. I mean, all the, the digestion and there was just a dominant pain that was really, that I really had a problem with, that I couldn't live with anymore. And then all the other pieces started falling into place.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised I'm not your sickest patient, because
Oh my gosh, no.
You have people worse than, wow.
So much sicker than you. Yeah, I've got a sweet lady that I seriously wanted to send her directly to the emergency department when she came in. She was so sick. Yeah, and I had to actually pull back. We did a gut reset on her, and I had to pull it even back further than yours.
Yeah.
And just start with little kind of kids' gloves, if you will, and just slowly move her forward. Because when we start killing off, we did the AO scan on you, and excuse me, I remember us finding all the fungi, the fungus and parasites and viruses and abnormal bacteria, all these imbalances through that scan, coupled with, again, your blood tests, etc. But once we start getting that in alignment and start taking care of those chronic infections, if we do it too fast, they release all of their chemicals all at once. So all the neurotoxins, the collagenase, all those things that they're using to try to get fed more gets released at once. And it's too much. And so you have to, there's an art to that piece.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that I like about you, is that you're not like, I'm going to give you a pill and you're going to be better, because that's kind of fake.
It never works.
It doesn't work, and I think most of us know that now, who've done the pill, and maybe it worked for a little while, and then you were worse after.
Yes, right.
And you get to the point where you don't want to do that anymore, and so you're real about that. You're like, this is a journey. I'm on the journey with you, and it's not going to be instant. Although some things were.
Some things went really quick
Some things
for
went
you.
really quick.
Yeah.
And some things have been a little bit longer. But you're real about that. You don't make fake promises or write a quick prescription and send you out the door and don't bother me. I don't want to hear about it. You're right. You're there with me on the journey. Holding my hand. At times I was like, I needed you to hold my hand. And that's an emotional.
Yeah.
Connection that we have.
True.
Doctor to patient.
Yeah. Yeah, and the interesting thing about that people don't, from my perspective, is that every patient that has these outcomes kind of adds to my growth a little bit too. I'm super. It's so much fun. It's the reward. Make a big difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
And we're just getting started.
I know you are. I'm so excited for you. So grateful to be one of your patients and one of the people helping and behind you and cheering you on, and
Rah, rah, rah.
get out the pom-poms, let's go.
No, it's very kind.
Well, I will say this about you because you will not say it yourself, but you are a genius. You are, one of the people.
Very blessed, and I work hard.
You do. There's a lot you do, for sure. And there's a lot of, I think, grace that comes to you in your insights.
I would absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to you,
I'm going to keep talking about you.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you're a genius, and you're a genius who loves people and is extremely passionate about what you're doing, or you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just comes across in you. And so you are changing lives, and I'm so grateful.
Well, thank you. Thank you for trusting us. It's very humbling. And it's interesting too how going through these difficulties with you, that we've become good friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Through that whole process.
Right. I know that you are cheering me on in my career, and I'm 100% behind you and yours. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
How does life look different for you now than when you started? What are the possibilities? You talked a little bit about those, but it seems almost like now they're almost unlimited because of what you can do.
Yeah. Oh, it's so different. So I used to get up around 8. I used to drag myself up around 8 and make breakfast, and then I would have to take a nap during the day, and then I couldn't wait to go to bed, and taking something to help me sleep because of the pain. So now I get up around 6. I go work out first thing. I get right out of bed. I mean, it's not, I just get right out of bed and I go down and I work out, and then I just hit the ground running. I mean, I don't nap anymore. I don't need to. I've got plenty of energy to get me through the day. So I started working again and helping build this business, which has just gone
explosive. Yeah.
Explosive. And those things don't happen, at least for me, until you've got you know, all these thoughts that can be directed toward what you're going to do with your life next. What am I going to do with this product that we have to get out to the world? You know, that takes a lot of planning and energy, and so I get to do that now, and it's so exciting. I get to work with my husband, and you know, the creativity is like so cool. I didn't know that I was creative. I mean, I really.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I really didn't, you know, have enough energy.
Yeah, to devote to that creative side.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And the other thing I would say that I really love about your program that is so unique is that you teach how to, you know, I run on the high anxiety side, and I always have. So you know that about me, but you teach how to, you know, calm yourself, to, you know, to get ready for sleep, which is so important. You teach about sleep. You taught me how to, you know, meditate.
We gave you that meditation and kind of reset.
Meditation, the stuff
so
to do
good.
at night, the stuff to do at morning, so that I can, you know, I still run on the anxiety side, but I can direct it. You know, I can channel it.
Yeah.
And use it.
And that's a great point, because, you know, they say excitement and anxiety are actually housed in the same node in your brain. It's just where it's driven, what its purpose is and how you direct it. So that's super well said. Well, there you have it. We're super excited to have been able to sit together, share some emotion, share some facts, some data, share hope. I think that's the big piece, is we've been able to share hope. Get on board, let's go. Let's let your journey take a U-turn, or at least a pivot, and get you headed in the right direction. That's what foundational medicine's all about. That's what Denali Medical is all about. Subscribe, give us an email, call, make an appointment, however you want to get in contact with us. Now's the time. If you have that impulse, get the ball rolling. Let's go.